on in, everyone. Come on in because we are here to talk about the P. Diddy trial here on, I don't even know what day this is, but this is actually Tuesday. And to be honest with you, full disclosure, y'all, I have not read all of the transcript for what happened on Tuesday because I had to rush here right away and say to all of you, not another fake bribery charge against P. Diddy Combs. Not another fake bribery charge. Hold on, everybody. Hold on before you get too upset with what I'm talking about. Y'all, I'm actually starting to get a little bit angry. I'm starting to get a little bit angry that these prosecutors, they playing in our face, y'all. They are playing in our face. I don't know, where are all the attorneys that are supposed to know the law? I don't know why I'm sitting here like a jailhouse attorney trying to get P. Diddy Combs out of jail because I really don't want to get him out of jail. But this case has so many holes in you. So, first of all, the first bribery charge we heard about was of Combs threatening to release Cassie's video of her unless he was paid $20,000. This is what we told. There is no evidence that he requested it of it. There's no email. There's no text. The only person we know who said it happened was Cassie. And then when Cassie did get the money from her parents, she went to her parents and said, hey, if you don't give me $20,000, Diddy is going to release these sex videos of me. And they went out and took out a second mortgage on their house. And Diddy, blah, blah, blah. What's her name? Cassie went and got the money from her parents. This is what she tells us. And the money was wired into a bank account of P. Diddy. And then within days, 1 or 2 days, it was sent back. Okay. Is that bribery? Is it bribery if one of all, I say I never asked you for the money, all of a sudden money showed up in my account and I sent it back? That's not good evidence for me. I didn't believe that bribery charge. Now, hold on, y'all. You're like, well, what about the bribery charge today? This is what the news was saying, and I'm going to tell you why I got a problem with it again, y'all. I know you're probably like, how does she have a problem with everything? Because I just got problems with stuff that don't add up. Okay, here we go. The bribery charge is that after Diddy was caught in the hotel Intercontinental beating up Cassie, that he gave money to the security people to get the tape back, and that was the bribery. Now remember, bribery is typically something where you are either giving someone money or you are receiving money in order to conceal something illegally or get some type of special favor. So everyone would say, yep, that's what Diddy did. What Diddy did was Diddy gave the security officer money so that he wouldn't get in trouble for the beating of Cassie. I'm going to talk about this. I'm going to break it down for y'all. But first of all, as I break it down, I'm just going to ask you one question that you can think about while I'm breaking it down. If Diddy illegally bribed the hotel to get back into his possession a video of him beating Cassie, and that was illegal, and that was a bribe to get that video back. That's what everyone's saying. It was illegal, Diddy, for you to give money to the hotel security guards, which are agents of the hotel, to get back a video of you beating Cassie. Okay, that's what they're telling us. Then I have a question. If that was illegal to get back that video, that would mean that Diddy didn't have any rights to the video and that he stole the video from the hotel. That's what he did. That's what they're telling us. He paid the hotel security people to steal the video from the hotel, and that was a crime. The bribery was a crime, and he paid people to commit a crime. That's what they would be telling us. So this is the one I want to ask you. Why did Cassie just win $10 million in a settlement from the Intercontinental Hotel? Let it sink in. What do you think she sued the hotel for? Remember, it's illegal, right? That's what they're telling us Sean Diddy Combs did by getting that video back. It's illegal. It's illegal. So why would the hotel have to pay Cassie money? Why would they have to do that? You know why they did that? You know why they paid Cassie money? You know what she sued them for? Breach of privacy. That's what she paid them for. Because when that video was leaked, guess whose privacy got leaked? Cassie's. But guess who was also in the video whose privacy got leaked? There's one other person in that video whose privacy was leaked. And you know who that was? Sean Diddy Combs. That's whose privacy also got leaked. If Cassie can get $10 million from Intercontinental for leaking a private moment, then Sean Diddy Combs technically shouldn't have had to pay any money for that video, because technically what's being said is that video did not belong to the hotel. Now, a lot of y'all want to say, well, it does, because a hotel has a right to video things. Hold on. Hold on. I used to host Airbnb, and they used to send out these notes that warned every single host, let it be warned that you cannot have video surveillance cameras in the home that you went through Airbnb. A lot of Airbnb hosts thought, well, I don't have the camera in the bathroom, and I don't have the camera in the bedroom, the bathroom or the bedroom, which is where typically they say you have an expectation of privacy. Well, Airbnb notified all us hosts that, hey, but when someone rents an entire house from you, they have an expectation that the entire house would be private, not just the bathroom and not just the bedroom. And I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. So what a hotel can do is a hotel can film you when you are in a public area, when you are in hallways, when you are in lobbies. But from what we know, Sean Diddy Combs rented the entire floor, just like an Airbnb person would rent an entire house, which means now, because he has rented the entire floor, including that hallway, guess what he has a reasonable expectation of? Privacy. Privacy. So technically, when they had that video footage of him beating on Cassie in the hallway of his private floor, technically it belonged to him. The video footage belonged to him. But did Diddy go through the proper channels to get the video footage? No, he didn't. He didn't. He probably could have got his lawyers on it. He probably could have told his lawyers, you have no right to have filmed Diddy in the hallway. That was a private area. He had a reasonable expectation of privacy. You must give the video footage back. But did Diddy want all of that? No. You know what he was interested in? Just give me the video. Here's $100,000. That's nothing. Diddy's a billionaire. He just wanted to go away. But here's the problem. How can he be accused of bribing a hotel worker or a hotel person when the actuality is he was filmed illegally? You see? Because technically, if Cassie can sue Intercontinental Hotel for breach of privacy, so can Diddy. It doesn't matter that Diddy was doing something wrong. His privacy was still breached. So therefore, I can't call it bribery. I can't. And let me add something else to the mix. we find out that a security guard who was actually also at the time an LAPD police officer. He was doing two jobs. I guess he was an LAPD police officer, and he was also this so-called assistant director of security at the Intercontinental. He hears about a disturbance on Diddy's private floor. He goes up to the floor, and that's where he sees Diddy in the aftermath. Cassie's got a black eye. Diddy's walking around with a towel. He sees everything going on. Cassie is saying that she wants to leave. She just wants to get her phone and she wants to leave because the officer obviously has seen there has been this incident. Remember, he's not there acting as a police officer. He's there as security. Cassie says she wants to leave. Diddy says, you're not going anywhere. The police officer reminds Diddy she can leave if she wants to leave. She doesn't have to stay here. And eventually, Cassie does leave. She eventually comes back, but she actually does leave. The officer who responded to the so-called incident on the private floor, he did a couple of things, y'all. He did a couple of things. One is he took some video footage himself, but guess what he took the video footage with? His private phone. His private phone. His private phone. So he has in possession a private phone that he took video footage of. So that also does not belong to the hotel. And then the other thing that he did was he later went down to the video footage, the surveillance cameras that should have actually been turned off on the floor because it would have been illegal to film in those hallways since I rented the entire floor. I have an expectation that if I rent this entire floor, all of these areas should be private. No longer is it just my room. All of this is private because I paid for all of it. But anyway, this officer, security officer, whatever, he then records from the video recording, the hotel surveillance, he records that too. So now he has two recordings. He has the recording on the hotel surveillance video, and he also has a private recording that he did on his own cell phone. That's what he has. So as the things unfolded, what Diddy did was Diddy eventually contacted the on-duty security officer hours later. I think his assistant did it too. That's security guard number one. This is just a guy, I forget his name. You know, he's making $10.50 an hour. Diddy and Diddy's assistant said, we need that video footage back. We want it back. We'll make it worth your while, blah, blah, list. The guy says, you know, I really don't have access to the video footage. I can't get it for you. And Diddy says, make it happen. Make it happen. Now, remember, the very thing Diddy is asking for back from this hotel, technically, he's entitled to it because it's not theirs. So once again, here we go again. We have a scenario where Sean P. Diddy Combs is spending money and everybody else is making money. I mean, I never heard of a criminal enterprise that loses this much money. I thought to be an enterprise, you also got to make money. How many criminals commit crimes with the intent of never to make money, but to spend money? Because right now, every time I look at Sean Diddy Combs, and as they want to call it, this criminal enterprise is not putting people in body bags, stuffing in the back of cars, slitting throats to get money. This criminal enterprise is paying out a whole lot of money. So this is wild. This is wild. So remember, Sean Diddy Combs then gives the security guard and says, the security guard who's like the low level talks to his boss and says, hey, P. Diddy Combs wants the surveillance tape. And the boss of the low level guy says, well, I'll give it to him for $50,000. $50,000. So at this point in time, is P. Diddy bribing them or are they bribing P. Diddy? I mean, come on. They about to charge P. Diddy $50,000 for a video that technically Sean Diddy Combs owns the rights to because it should have never been recorded in the first place. It's private. It's private. Why do y'all think that Diddy's attorneys were trying to blame the feds for leaking the video in the news prior to the case? Why do you think they were doing that? You know why? Because technically it was a private video. And so technically the feds would not have had access to the video because it was a private video. But if the private video becomes a public video, then guess what they can do? They can use the video now here in the trial. There you go. The video would have always remained private because it was not legal to show the video, publish the video, or anything. That's called a breach of privacy. And who got paid for a breach of privacy? Cassie. $10 million. That's what she got for it. Cassie got $10 million. Diddy paid $100,000. And now Diddy's on trial for bribery of trying to bribe someone to give the video back that legally they were not even able to record. Remember, the security officer, the police officer that recorded the video on his private phone, he did not get consent from Diddy to record that. So yeah, could he sue the police officer? Yeah, but what does that look like, suing a billionaire, suing a police officer? He ain't got no money. What can you get? The damage has been done if the tape is leaked. Could he sue Intercontinental just like Cassie did? He probably can. He probably can. So, then you have, when he said, I'll give you $50,000, that's what the hotel manager wanted. Diddy ended up giving him $100,000. $50,000 more than what the boss of the security department wanted. And the way the $100,000 was going to get split was the boss was going to took 50. The little low-level guy who was at the front desk running security, he took $30,000. And then what they said they did was they gave the police officer who showed up on the scene, they gave him $20,000. Now remember, they're paying these 3 security guards $100,000 for the video surveillance tape. That's what they paid for. A tape that technically the hotel can't even own because it was illegally recorded without consent because it was a private floor. And then the police officer had another separate private video that he recorded because what he said was he wanted to then show it to his wife, and he ended up showing it to even other employees at the hotel. So, I'll say it one more time. How can you be accused of bribery, of paying someone to give you something back that technically belongs to you, and it was stolen from you? Basically, your privacy was stolen from you illegally. How is that bribery? Now, you might want to say it was because he bought it in order to conceal a crime. Well, if that were the case, then how can Cassie get $10 million? How could that be? You see, because when the security officer, the police officer asked Cassie, do you want me to call the police? Do you want to press charges? What Cassie said was, no, I don't want to call the police. And then what they're saying is Diddy coerced Cassie to say to these security people that I don't want the video to get out either because I have a premiere coming up And I don't want that premiere to be tainted by this video. So you had Cassie, who expressly and explicitly said, I do not want my privacy breached. I do not want my privacy aired across the airways. And so, no, I don't. So now people say, well, Cassie only did that because Cassie was scared of Diddy. She was protecting Diddy. No, she was also protecting herself. She was also protecting herself, and she took steps to protect herself. She did not consent and give the hotel approval to record her, to keep a recording, nor to release a recording. And they did. They did. They released it. They released it through that security guard who also took a video of the recording, and he is an agent of that hotel. And that is why they had to pay Cassie $10 million, because they also breached Cassie's wishes. Cassie told them point blank, I do not want this video out. And she went along with Combs, giving them $100,000. She also was protecting herself, and who didn't protect her was the hotel. And that is why she got $10 million. So, like I said, how can this be a bribery when I give money to a person who stole from me and I'm asking for it back and it's rightfully mine? And in fact, that's why these hotel workers had to get immunity, because technically they bribed Diddy. Technically, they bribed Diddy. If someone comes and steals something from you and you say, I have what you want, but what you'll have to do is you will have to pay me money to get what I want, something that I already have of yours, you would not be considered bribery. And I know you guys want to say, well, he was concealing a crime. Well, here's the problem. First of all, it had not been investigated and declared a crime at the time. It was not to hush up witnesses, because at that moment in time, they weren't considered witnesses to a crime. There had not been any investigation. And in addition to, when the Diddy gave the money to the hotel guy, the security guy, he was required to sign an NDA. He was the only one, because nobody else was present. The manager had enough sense not to be there, even though it doesn't matter. And the police officer wasn't there. This low-level $10.50 an hour guy was the one that went up to Diddy's room, gave him whatever, the flash drive, whatever it was, of the video, and he collected the $10,000 or the $100,000. And when he went up there, Diddy asked for the ID, copies of the ID of 3 people. The low-level security guy, he wanted a copy of his ID. He wanted a copy of the boss of him, who's the boss of security. And he wanted a copy of the responding officer, which was the one that actually came on the floor and took video on his private phone. And in the end, I think the officer, the private officer at the time, even from the testimony of the low-level guy said, well, the private officer is by the book, so he's not going to really want to be involved in this at that time. So Diddy wasn't able to get the ID of that officer, but he was able to get, I think, the ID of the low-level guy and also the boss. And that's when he signed the NDA. And also in the NDA, what it explicitly said in the NDA was, basically, although I'm giving you this money for this tape, should you ever get basically investigated, ask questions about this incident by any law enforcement officer under any investigation, you are free to tell them exactly what you saw. So therefore, Diddy did not bind in any kind of way that low-level security guy from talking to police officers. So should there ever be a police investigation, that guy was free and willing to tell what he saw, right? And so therefore, there isn't any interference with trying to conceal evidence. It's not evidence because technically the evidence was illegal. It's just like any type of police officer. If evidence is achieved or retrieved illegally, it cannot become evidence unless one of the parties who owns the evidence is willing to give it to the police. And in this case, the two parties involved, both Diddy and Cassie, never consented to that video being given to anyone. And when it was leaked, that's why Cassie got 10 million. So same situation, how can Cassie get $10 million off of the video versus when Diddy was asking to get the video back, it is considered a crime, bribery. That's not true. Some of you may say, well, it's a crime because Diddy was actually the one committing the crime in the video. Doesn't matter. Criminals got rights too. Sorry to tell you, criminals have rights too. Criminals got rights too. You do not have the right to breach all other privacy laws of a criminal just because something else. Nope. Sorry. Not true. So people can yell at me and say, I don't know the law, but I feel pretty good about this one. I feel pretty good. But if you're a lawyer, you can drop down in the comments and tell me something I don't know, but it don't line up to me. So as a result, I kind of feel like here's another bribery charge that falls flat. It falls flat. Oh, y'all. I can't even believe we're here. I cannot believe we're here. I'm wondering if the Diddy defense team is going to mop all this up when they have their chance to speak. Because I was surprised that they don't raise some of these points. And there must be something that they're waiting on doing. I have no idea. I have no idea. But anyway, that's all I got, y'all. That's all I got. Talk to y'all later. Bye.